short video on how to manage your state moment to moment to moment. Why is this so important, managing your state of being? I mean, what you feel, your emotional state in any given moment. Why is this important? Well, your life is the quality of your emotional state in any given moment. If I ask you how you are right now, and you actually thought about the state of being in your body, like what you actually feel, and you did a check-in with yourself, that would give you an indicator of your quality of life right now. Not based on your bank balance, not based on where you are, it's not based on who you're with, it's not based on anything other than how you feel in any given moment, moment to moment to moment. And these moments are strung together over time. And if we string together enough moments where we're feeling depressed or down or anxious, then we label ourselves depressed or down or anxious. Whereas if we head for and set a direction and an outcome for being calm and for being happy and for being contented and for being grateful and for being positive emotions, then we set ourselves a direction that we can aim at. And this is emotional intelligence. This is about switching from a state of being which is negative to a state of being which is positive. Now, how do you do that? Well, one of the key things to know is that you have to condition yourself, especially if you've had some kind of trauma in your past or you've difficult life situations that you've had to overcome time after time after time. This takes its toll on the nervous system. And so what happens is we get used to feeling states of depression, anxiety, and we get used to repressing happy states because we were told not to. So if you were someone that was growing up and you were always told off for being too excited, or you were told off for being distracted, or you were told off if you were running too fast, you were told off if you were laughing or talking too much or chatting too much, eventually you get so many messages that repress these happy states that you end up being constantly checking yourself to check whether you're in a state which is going to appease the bigger people that are around you, those in authority. As we grow up, this becomes a problem because we carry these authority figures within us, and therefore, whenever we feel happy, we feel a sense of guilt, or whenever we feel like we're talking too much, we suppress it. So we actually suppress and turn off and turn down the dial on those parts of our lives that actually give us joy, that actually make us happy over time. So in order to overcome this, we have to then recondition our nervous system to be in a position where we can feel these natural states of well-being, happiness, joy, contentment. We have to recondition ourselves to feel these states again. And so the way to do that is to have a daily practice. And there is no other way around this, really. You can fight your own nervous system, but much of your system is unconscious. So much of the impulses that we act upon we're just reacting to strategies which are hardwired in our neurology and in our nervous system. And as a result, whilst our conscious mind can be saying, well, why do I feel depressed, or why do I feel down all the time? When I have this conscious mind that can think and can observe that I am depressed and down and anxious, so why do I still feel these things? We can't think our way out of these states. We have to feel our way out of these states, and we have to some extent, retrain our nervous system to feel good. And so the way to do this is to have a daily practice every day which helps you to feel good, which picks you up and puts you into a state and reminds you that managing your state is not only possible, but it's also something which is desirable and something which you should practice on a daily basis. So what can you do? Here are some practical steps. So one of the things that I do on a daily basis now is that when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is put on some clothes, obviously, and then I go out and I walk. And I don't take a long walk, but I walk away from the house, and I walk in a state which feels good for me. So if I'm in a good physiological state, what happens is I change my body to reflect someone who would feel confident, someone who would feel joy, someone who would feel grateful. So the way that this works is I leave my house and I start off at a brisk pace, and I have a good stride base, and I have my head up and I'm looking into the sky, and I take a deep breath in, and I say to myself in my mind, I am feeling good today for no reason at all. And the reason I do this is so that I'm conditioning myself every day to feel good. Now, the reason this is important is because we've conditioned ourselves over time to ask ourselves the wrong sorts of questions. So if we ask ourselves the question, well, why do I feel depressed? We get more of what we focus on. So if I ask myself a question, why do I feel down, or why do I feel depressed, then I will get more feelings of depression and more feelings of feeling down. And the reason for that is that the brain will try and respond to the questions that you ask of it. So if you ask a question like, why will I feel down? The brain goes, he wants to know why he's feeling down. So they will find a list of reasons why you feel down. Now, you don't actually want a list of reasons why you feel down. What you want to do is flip it and ask yourself the question, how can I feel good for no reason whatsoever? And then your brain begins to search for, well, how can he feel good for no reasons whatsoever? And you begin to find reasons. The flowers that you walk past, the trees that you hear in the wind, the breeze on your face, all these are reasons to feel good. The fact that you're alive, the fact that you're watching this video is a reason to feel good. It's a reason to feel grateful. So just switching and asking that question. Now remember, we're also walking, so our physiological state is changing, and we're speeding up the pace, and then we're slowing down. We're speeding up the pace to feel confident, maybe we're speeding up the pace and we're walking like somebody who feels very confident. What would a confident person walk like? What would they be thinking about? What would they be seeing? How can you feel more and more confidence in your body for no reason other than you are a human being with incredible amount of resources that you have gathered over hundreds of thousands of years, that you are the result of millions of DNA that have perpetuated themselves over time, and you find yourself in a situation where you exist. How wonderful that is. And so there's always reasons to feel good, to feel content, to feel calm. Also, the other thing that I think in this 6-minute walk that I'm having is I think about confidence states, I think about how to feel good, and I also think about what am I grateful for? And I often just look around as I'm on my walk, which is away from my house, and what I do is I walk down. I live in a little village in the middle of England, and I walk down the street. There's a bunch of houses, and I say hello to people that are walking their dogs on the other side of the road maybe, and I walk past the post box, and then there's a beautiful blossom tree right at the bottom of my street, and when I see that, I always feel a huge sense of gratitude. And I remember the film The Last Samurai, where the last samurai himself is looking at a blossom tree, and he says to himself, you could study a blossom tree for an entire lifetime and it would not be a wasted life. And so these things I think about when I'm walking, which gives me a sense of gratitude. It gives me a sense of well-being that I am here and able to experience the consciousness that we all experience. Woo, woo, woo. And in this way, I build confident states in the morning, states of confidence, calm, happiness, peace. And when I get to the end of I only do this for 6 minutes, so it's just a quick walk around the block, but when I get back, it's anchored my way of being into the day that then unfolds in front of me. I've reminded myself that I can feel good for no reason at all, that I don't need to copy the patterns of the past, that I can recondition myself, and it reminds me how easy it is and how simple it is to carry out these simple tasks on a daily basis that repeat over time, that condition you into being a more happy, a more well-rounded, a more content and calm individual that is able to cope with any of the pressures and stresses and strains that come up inevitably through the day and see them as challenges to be overcome, because your fundamental sense of being moment to moment to moment is one of happiness, peace and calm. If you've got any questions or comments on this video, please pop them in the chat. This video has been about how to manage your state on a daily basis, how to condition yourself to feel good for no reason whatsoever. Thank you very much for watching.